What's up guys, welcome back. OCG Metagame Breakdown for half of April, end of April, early May, that is. Road of the King, again, like all the sources will be in the video description. Again, the Rise of the Duelist has been released in the OCG, so let's take a look how much of an impact that has on the OCG format. It has been a couple of weeks. Last that I did, my last OCG Metagame Breakdown, and a couple of things have been changed. A couple of new techs have risen from the new set. The Dragma team has been dropped in the OCG, and it has entered the OCG with a bang. So let's take a look. And as I have two pie charts ready. The first one here is by Road of the King. Link will be in the video description. The first pie chart features smaller tournaments in the OCG held in China, for example, during near end of April 2020. Those are smaller locals as well due to the coronavirus. So smaller locals and about 46 decks, over 12 store tournaments are featured here in the report. So as you see, Dragma Invoked currently is the most represented deck, but keep in mind the representation of decks is really small, and probably people want to try out the new stuff over the old stuff like Zealots, like Emancipator, Orcust, for example. People are fed up with those, so they definitely want to try out the new stuff. So take the results with a grain of salt. But again, Dragma Invoked currently is the most represented deck, followed by Orcust featuring Girsu, the new card we are getting finally in the TCG, and then Emancipator, one of the best decks here in the TCG, but the OCG still has Maxi, one of the most crucial cards against the deck. Solomon, Great Sky Strike, a lot of less representative decks. Thunders, most notably, they still have one Colossus, and Emancipator, as I mentioned before, and 3-Axis Synchro. I have a list from that soon. A lot of other decks, but the first deck, of course, is Dragma Invoked. As I mentioned, the deck is very strong, combining two different engines, but they definitely go well together, as you might have seen in videos on YouTube. First of all, the deck packs well together, and the thing here is, as you see here in the list, is that first of all, your Dragma engine needs an extra deck monster both on the field and or in the graveyard, and that's where the Invoked engine shines with the extra deck package of, let's say, your Almirage and your Light Link, right? Getting it on the field, your Secure Gardna, and that immediately makes your Dragma engine live. But as you see here in the list, is that not really it's a new strategy, but the fact that you're not forcing yourself to main deck extra Shaddolls, that the deck is not main decking any Shaddoll, regular Shaddoll monster, but the fact that your new Shaddoll card, your Continuous Monster Reborn, has fusion card, that is, has the ability to fusion summon during your opponent's turn by banishing the materials from your graveyard. That's quite nifty, putting up a window during your opponent's turn, and again, you're not main decking, or you're not forcing yourself to main deck any other Shaddoll monster, just using your Shaddoll monsters in your graveyard, which will be sent to the graveyard thanks to your Dragma engine. A cute thing here is, a couple of things actually, is that people starting to heavily counter Dragma, again the most popular engine I guess, by let's say putting stuff like Entis in their extra deck on their own, since Maximus, the level 8, one of the crucial engine cards for Dragma, has the ability to force your opponent to send at least 2 extra deck cards from their extra deck to the graveyard. So I mean, it's a figure of speech, or it's obviously that your opponent will prepare themselves to, let's say, they'll add in stuff like Entis to screw over your opponent as well, using Maximus effect. And that's why people are starting to drop Maximus 2-1 in their main deck. Most notable as well is 3 Tactical Talents. It's a card that has been hyped up by a lot of people, like the new Call by the Grave that has the ability to either Change of Heart or a Forceful Sentry or Pot of Greed, depending on your opponent had used a monster effect during your main phase. Keep in mind the OCG has Maxi, which every deck runs, so in the OCG it might be a bit easy or much easier to pull off, but 3 Tactical Talents, it's living up to its hype according to Road of the King, so it's definitely a good card. A lot of people are main decking it next to Cross Out, Designator and Call by the Grave. So that's basically it for Dragma and Vogt. Let's move on to Orcust. Again, a couple of things. Orcust with Girsu, and they still have like the small Orcust package live, right? As like other Sky Striker decks, they still have double engage, but like long story short, they still somewhat rely on stuff like the Dark Magician fusion with your Predaplant Cobra, with your Anaconda, apologies, but most notable, and this was very cool, is that again, as I mentioned before, people are like main decking answers themselves against the Dragma engine, and this particular Orcust player decided to main deck 2 cards, well, put 2 cards in the extra deck. First of all, and this to pop something if your opponent uses Maximus, and Nova. Nova is an interesting one. It's a light, by the way, but most notable, it's a machine that lets you trigger its effect when it's sent to the graveyard, and then you can special summon Makaba from your extra deck to the field. So very crucial tech, a very nice tech. One of the reasons why maybe people will, you know, move away from the Dragma engine or Maximus himself. This particular list is also main decking 3 tactical talents, not to forget. Cool one, right? But 45 cards in the main deck. So conclusion, as also what Road to the King mentions, is that 3 tactical talents is definitely living up its hype. So be prepared, guys. It's definitely going to be a crucial card. The next tournament here like features more tournaments from the same date, around the same date. A lot of diversity, but again, as I mentioned before, the format is super diverse. Locals level, small tournaments, so you can kind of expect that. A lot of lists, let's, you know, like dig into them, but quickly overlook them or overview them. We have Orcust as well, as I mentioned before, with Engage still alive. One TCG player can dream about that. Adamancipator is starting to shine in the OCG, even though with a low representation, and as you know, yeah, Maxi is still a thing, and that's of course a crucial card against a deck like Adamancipator. But again, like a lot of Adamancipator lists, we see like 46 cards, we see the Parallel Exceed in the main deck, the Rock, like Quackimero Rock, of course, is quite good against hand traps himself, so quite nifty. We see, well, like a list we've seen before. Dragma and Vogt as well, I don't think I need to talk about that. We see Windwitch as well, finally Windwitch in the new Master Rule 5 format. It's cool, but I think the Dragma engine packs more power. Let's move along. We see Eldritch finally in the OCG. I mean, it's like one of the 2 best decks, I guess, in the TCG next to Adamancipator, but Eldritch, like look at this abomination. Triple skill drain, triple judgment, all of the floodgates. It's not really too fun to play against, but that's how it is. And looking at the raw numbers, it's really underperforming, I feel. Eldritch main decking Lava Golem, yeah, must be nice. Other lists, we see Heroes as well. Yeah, okay, like Heroes, they're pretty much falling back, even though that Dark Law is still a very strong card, but and I kind of expected more, I guess, but you see the Anaconda as well, so yeah, well, one can like expect it, I guess, but still, Heroes not really, it's like underrepresented, I feel. Rituals, I mean, I've put up a video last week about talking about Rituals and Necros, but Megaliths do have like a lot of potential with their new support as well. This particular player opted to main deck like that small Adamancipator engine as well, looking at the Herald in the extra deck also. Interesting to note is no Dragma. Let's move along. We see Salamangreats also packs power in the OCG. Of course, like resorting to Dragoons, or Dragon, right? I have to pronounce Dragon. But it seems like a huge package deck, 48 cards in the main deck. Crackdown as well, but that's how it is. Maybe lowering the chances of actually drawing into Dark Magician, Red Eyes Fusion, and your Red Eyes Black Dragon. Sky Strikers, and again, a TCG player can dream, still has options in the OCG with Engage at 2. Again, one can think, right? But yeah, Engage still at 2. Sky Strikers still does stuff in the OCG. Yeah, again, a TCG player can dream. We see Zodiacs also, Time Thief, Zodiac, Mystic Mine also. Call by the Grave, no 3 tactical talents, that is, but yeah, again, it's like a road deck, I guess, resorting to Anaconda, and of course the Dark Magician Fusion. Last but not least, we have like Zephyra deck. It's cool, I guess. Does have a lot of shenanigans, but yeah, we in the TCG don't have Danglong, and that's something we have seen in the OCG as well. As I've mentioned before, is 3-axis synchro deck, like packs some power in the OCG, but sitting at about like 4 to 5%. But it's a cute deck, but yeah, again, we in the TCG don't have access to Danglong. So that's how it is, very early, well early, you know, due to the coronavirus. We have to take these results with a grain of salt. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.